Today I'm going to show you how you can double your damage in 5 minutes. Make sure you hit subscribe and let's get straight into the video. Okay, so one of the best ways to increase your damage is definitely through power stones. Now, you can buy these in the bazaar. There's loads of different options to go for. If you want crit damage, you definitely want to go for this dark orb. Now, this will give you the shaded power. You have to buy 9 of these, so they're about 350k each. So that's about 4 mil to buy all of them. I just bought them all, so I've switched my power over to this one. And if you go over to the Thaumaturgist over here, you can set up your powers. So I've got Sighted, which is really good for Mage. If you want Mage, you can go for that. Or you can go for, I've got Shaded on right now. So that gives me 233 crit damage plus 62 strength, which is really decent. You basically want to get to a point where you have a 1-to-1 ratio of strength and crit damage to deal the most damage possible. So if you want, if you go for the forceful one, you get more strength, and there's another one like the strong one or something, which is really expensive, but you can get even more strength from that. Then there's also tuning, which is very important. I just changed mine so that I have tuning points in crit damage, and you can see 17 crit damage and 16 strength, so that's pretty even. I don't really need any more of either of those, but you can, each bit of magical power you get gives you more and more tuning points. I need to get more magical power, more accessories, so these aren't great. I haven't got very much at all, so you can definitely do better with those. Another thing you can do is definitely reforging your equipment. So equipment is not, I'm not talking about anything else like any of your weapons or anything, but these 4 things are your equipment. So I put them all on strengthened, which you get from a searing stone, I believe it's called, which is, I think it's a good reforge, but you do get some defense, so there's probably a better one for damage that you could go for. Yeah, the higher your rarity of your equipment, the better reforges you're going to get. So if I had a legendary one, I'd get slightly better stats on it. But these are some decent accessories. I think these are good for nether, so that's a decent setup you can use, but I think there are better ones for damage, so definitely go use those. Another thing I'd suggest you do is definitely always have a god pot or a dungeon pot on, depending on what you're doing. So it is in here, active effects. So by having stuff like spirit, critical and strength potions and stuff on all the time, you get a ton more damage. So mine's about to run out actually, but also having a dungeons pot is really useful when you're in dungeons. It gives you a bit of speed, it gives you some really good damage buffs, which is very important for dealing good damage. Another really important thing is your combat level. So this is probably one of the most important things that decides your damage, because this shows you. So at my current combat level, which isn't very high, you should definitely try and get it higher than this, but I do 132% more damage to mobs, and I get a bit more crit chance, which can be useful. So you can focus more on crit damage, so you don't need to gain any crit chance or anything else. So that's really useful to have. The higher you get, so if I had combat 50, I do 200% more damage to mobs, which is really insane. And the bestiary is a really important way to get this. So every other milestone you reach, you will then get like something like 1 million combat XP, or maybe even more than that. So that's really useful to level up your combat level. There's other ways to do it. I've got many videos on those, but the bestiary is also very important, because let's say that we look at Enderman here. If you're trying to do a lot of damage to Enderman, you will do more damage to them if you level up your tier. So I get +2 Enderman strength per tier, and magic find on them as well. And I get +9 strength against them as well. So as you do the bestiary, you'll get more and more damage against the mobs you're trying to fight. That's also the same with dungeons mobs, which is useful. You can also increase your foraging level, which will help you get some strength. So my foraging is really bad, but it's only 19, but you get a bunch of strength from this. So as you get to like foraging 50, you get like 100 more strength or something, which really actually can make a big difference. Now we're going to talk about gear. So there's a lot of stuff you can do to increase the damage on your stuff. Obviously, wear a helmet would be a good idea. But one thing I wouldn't do is one for all. It's not great enchant anymore, but I used to have it, so I can't be able to change it right now. But the most important thing is the reforge and the rarity of your weapons and armor. I have Fabled on here. This gives me 50% crit damage and 75 strength. Also, there's a crit bonus of 15% extra damage on a chance of getting that, and I also get the hot potato books, which are really important. So they give you 20 damage and 20 strength, which is is really good to have. And you also definitely want to star it if you're using in dungeons, because you get 5 stars is a ton more damage in dungeons. If you look at the stats on the right, the grey stats, that means that's your dungeon stats. So I get a bunch more stats from starring it. So that's very important. It being mythic also helps those reforges, so if it was a lower rarity, then it would be slightly worse. The same with the armor. So I have the ancient reforge, which you get from a precursor gear, which is one of the reforge stones in here. The precursor gear is decently expensive, but it's not too bad. So you get the ancient reforge, which gives you a bunch of crit damage. And from the ancient bonus, you get +1 crit damage per catacomb level. Obviously, you should probably get better enchants than this on your armor and stuff. But yeah, this is a really good way to get some damage. And also, this is hot potato books as well, so you get. It actually doesn't give any damage, hot potato in your armor, but that is very useful for your weapons. Definitely do it. All right, so other ways you can increase your damage is definitely recomming your gear. So obviously if my legendary stuff was mythic, it would be even better, but the recoms are quite expensive at the moment, so they're 12 million coins or something. So recomming your stuff can be good, and also if you're very late game, you can recom your accessories to give you more magical power, which is a very good thing to do, but I need to just get all of my accessories first, I think would be a better idea. And then also using a damage pet can be really important for getting the best damage possible. I'm using a tiger pet because this gives me good DPS, but it's not actually very good. I don't really have many good physical damage pets because I mainly play mage, but ones that you could use are stuff like the wither skeleton pet. That's quite good, I think. I don't know where it is. With a skeleton pet, here you go. This gives a good amount of crit damage and some strength, and you get a bunch of, you deal more damage with wither mobs, which is good for floor 7. Or you could go for something that increases everything, which is the ender dragon pet. That is really good. But this one is really expensive, obviously. 844 mil, it's not even possible, basically. Or you could, I think I don't know if golden dragon gives you damage, but I think it is a good pet. So you get some attack speed and some strength, and you get strength to golden weapons. So and you get damage per million coins, so that's really useful. It's like sort of like an emerald blade, but it's a pet. So that is a really good damage pet that you could use. But yeah, in terms of my damage, but this is without a helmet, by the way, so don't judge it too much. But that's 240k. So by doing all of these steps, I actually increased my damage from around like 150k to 240k. I need to get a tarantula helmet or something, but I just can't use one right now. So yeah, that is a really good way to. There's some really good ways to increase your damage. So make sure you hit subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.